Hello,
Great,
everyone.
thank you.
I hope you can hear me now. Yeah. My name is Solomon Kica, and a coordinator of Resilience Mappers. We are a new online mapping community which was formed in March 2020 this year to respond to providing map data in areas where government and non-government organizations expect to have intervention programs. Uh, we are in Uganda, in East Africa. So I'm going to take you through what we've been working on this past 2 months, developing a web map repository of Kampala's informal settlement. Urbanization in Kampala city, just like the rest of Africa's cities, is actually, most of it is unplanned, and around 70% of the city residents are living in informal settlements. The poorest citizens who are actually in these areas, they have not only have less access to basic services, but they're also the most exposed to natural hazards such as floods and outbreak of diseases like cholera and the more recent coronavirus. So with this in our minds as resilience mappers, we thought of providing something, information about informal settlements. So we started with Kampala City. So for example, in April this year, after the outbreak of coronavirus, the Uganda government launched a program to provide food and relief to the vulnerable poor who are living in the urban settlements of central Uganda. These were majorly taxi drivers, motorcycle riders, those people who used to work hand to mouth and were drastically affected by the measures in place to reduce the COVID-19 infections. And then the majority of these people were still the people who are living in the informal settlements, which were very crowded and underserved. However, when we cross-checked with the aerial imagery, we realized that most of these informal settlements were not mapped. So we as resilience mappers, we decided to team up and formed an organization. We are currently 5, and we are all students at Makerere University. So we decided that we needed to map these informal settlements such that government agencies and also non-government agencies that would expect to have intervention programs in these communities would can collect this information. In Kampala alone, we have 50 informal settlements within the 5 divisions. And so this was actually, to map all of them, required a lot of work and time. So we decided to start with one of the divisions in the city, and which was called Kawempe, and we decided to map 15 of them. So our idea how we wanted to map it. So we realized we are few in number. We are only 5, so we had to recruit more people. So we had to train people, volunteers, to help us in the mapping, and then also teach them how they can continue the mapping. And then, so in the process, this is how we carried out the mapping. We held 3 training sessions uh, because we expected new mappers, those people who had never used OpenStreetMap before. So we had to take them through how to use ID editor and JOSM, and then also take them through how to use the Mapillary plugin, because this was the closest thing that we had to groundwork, field work. Because of the lockdown, we couldn't go out and collect data, field work data. So we had to do it online. So remotely. So the only way we could do it is by using the Mapillary imagery, which were in these informal settlements. So after training the people, which we managed to get about 36 participants from 8 mapping communities in the country. So we carried out remote mapping in the 15 of the 15 informal settlements, mapped all the buildings, and roads in these communities, and also used Mapillary to add more information. For example, like is this the building? Which type of roof is it? Is it a permanent house, or is it a temporary house? So in total, we managed to map around 48,000 buildings and 134 kilometers of roads, and over 1,400 amenities, shops, schools. All of them were added on OpenStreetMap. So because this is an ongoing project, so far we have just mapped, and in the process right now we are cleaning the data so that we can populate a web map repository, which is showing all the informal settlements in Kampala city. And then this web map repository will be accessed by all the locals in the community, government agencies and NGOs. And currently we are working with the we are working with the local sorry, we're working with a local NGO, which is called Act Together, which is working in these informal settlements. This data is actually going to help them in the slum upgrading of these communities. So the next step after that will be now to coordinate with them and provide them with all the web maps and also some other static maps for particular programs. Thank you so much for giving me the platform to share what we've been working on. Thank you.
Solomon, thank you so much for that. We really appreciate yeah, you sharing that with us, and it's well, it's great that the platform exists for you to be able to tell us a little bit more about what you've been doing. So with that, we'll move straight into the final lightning talk that we have in the room for today, which is a pre-recorded as well, from Valerio De Luca and Giuseppe Maria Battista.